You've got mail. Good morning, everybody. You turn to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Spence.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. Doing fine, thank you.
Back to cold again.
Yeah, but it's only for a couple of days. It's
Yeah.
fine. Then it's warm again. Gal is traveling, and Katie is at a bridal shower, so they're not going to be here. Not sure what's going on with Nick, but if he is available, I'm sure he will be here.
He's
Eh,
at the White House.
uh, Our
He's the
number
White
is
House consultant.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And I'm kind of struggling what to do. You got do you have a Skype account?
Do I have a what?
Skype account?
Oh, I'm so crushed by it.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, over here it's a little bit. I mean, I don't use Skype anymore for anything other than right here for calling in and things like that. And the number is everywhere, so I'm looking for a replacement.
Yeah, because
And
Teams, even if you had Teams, does
you
Teams
can't.
have you can't use it for
No,
that.
no,
It's
there's
it's
no.
it's not
They
the
don't
same.
have telephony.
And you have to it's a special license to get the intra-company calling.
Yeah.
So,
The one that I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm going to do is again the company that I use for voice over IP, Anvio. Anvio has a program called Anvio Communicator, and it looks like it does everything that Skype does. You can get it for free, and then just pay like 0.01 cents or whatever, or 1 cent. Sorry, 1 cent a minute if you do it, or you can pay like $4 a month. And
and they charge you to port the number over?
I don't know yet. I mean, I just found that yesterday, and I mean, even if they charge me to port it, it's fine. I mean, right now, I think for the Skype number, it is $15, or it's 30 some dollars a year for a Skype number. I don't think it's going to come to that much with Anvio.
What about getting a Google Voice number?
I don't know that I can import the number to Google.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
not.
you know what? It may be possible to do a find me, follow me, but you'd have to keep
I
your
don't.
old
No, no.
number
It can't.
alive.
It
Yeah,
can't. It
it's
can't.
not worth
No,
it.
no. It
No.
can't be. I mean, this has to be something that works straight forward. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was for me to answer the phone, that's a different story.
I keep mine active. I got it a long time ago, and I just every once in a while I use it, and
Yeah.
then
I mean,
I get reminders that I have to make a call or it's going to go away. But
yeah.
I make
That's the
sure
same thing
I do
here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have it, and my intention was, um, I thought I was going to use it as a main number for the business, and then have used the call processing features to send it to different numbers and different times a day. And I never needed it. I mean,
Well, I
it's a
mean, I
great
was
idea.
reading.
If you're a business, a small business, and you want to use that time of day, redirection, all that, so you can do that with Google Voice. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I was reading, and that Envio has so many options, features, I would say. But I just need something that will work on the computer and answer calls. That's it.
Yeah. I
So,
remember when that first came out in the corporate world. I mean, it wasn't available for consumers yet.
Yeah.
Having when PBXs, there were pure IP phone switches that were appearing at the same time. But what was that first one? It was an open source
For what?
or IP PBX.
I don't know.
Um, it was free. Actually played with it for a while. Can't remember the name. But when IP calling was first supported by the major telephony providers, people who had traditional switches. Like I worked for Nortel at the time, so I was very familiar with their offering. But and Cisco came out with a IP only version and they added adapters to work with analog and other calls. But when we first got the desktop client that you could use that would replace your desk phone, it was you could pair it to your desk phone. You could have what they call sim ring, where your desktop and your phone would ring at the same time. You could redirect. You could do all kinds of fancy things with it. It was amazing. This is getting to be all right. So it's 2025. I would say it's 20 years ago or more, and we were using this stuff. It was absolutely amazing. You could be in a hotel in Singapore and have everything you have on your desk on your computer, and it was seamless. Just all you needed was a headset, and you were ready to go. So that was the beginning of that whole thing. Was such an incredible revolution. It changed everything.
Mike is
Mike
saying,
says, "What was it? What did he say? Oh, he's suggesting VoIP.ms,
yeah, I see that. I'll look
Net
into it.
Talk.
The other one, he says VPO something. I don't know if that's a mistype, Mike. Oh, VoIP MS. Okay. Uh, 85 cents per month. 85 cents per month? Weird number.
And then
Uh,
8 cents a minute.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
85
matter as
cents.
long as it's a simple app on the computer that uh, that you can just click and answer.
I keep meaning to get rid of UMA. And I want to. I have with Wise, I have their alarm system set up, but I haven't actually cut over to it yet. I still use UMA because it has a feature that I really like, and that's the um, geofencing.
Yeah.
It actually puts me away. Pam and I, as we come and go, says, I left, Pam left, switched to to armed,
Yeah. Never mind
and
that. You're gonna do away with it. So why are we talking
yeah,
about it?
no, but I mean, I use that. I want to do it with Wise. You can do it, but it's more complicated. It is not just a feature you turn on.
Is it more complicated or is it different so you'll take time to get used to it?
No, it's not. It'll do the same thing. It's just that you have to set up a um, if this and then that
Yeah.
sequence of events to
Yeah.
make it happen. So it's not something where
And
you
and with
with UMA
Uma,
you just turn it on
oh,
and
okay.
you use it.
Yeah,
Just
that's
as long
simpler. Yeah.
if you load the app on your phone and you have it running in the background, so it's always looking at your
Yeah.
location. When you come and go, when you set it up so that when both clients leave the area, and it's funny how it picks me up if I'm coming home or Pam's coming home. It's not connecting to my Wi-Fi. Somehow, when it gets into the neighborhood, it shows it. Now, it could be, I don't know how they're doing it,
Uh,
but the it switches to home. I
huh.
like it too because I once when we're away, I get alerts about all of the door sensors. So
Well,
there's Mike.
Yeah.
there is
Sick as
Mike.
a dog. That's why I'm incoherent when I'm typing. Can't see what I'm typing. Sorry about that. you guys want to play around with VoIP you try it before you make any permanent decisions. I've been using them about 4 years now. I haven't found anything close to it. It's not 8 cents a minute. It's 0.8 cents per minute. I typed it wrong.
Yeah, on Anvio is 0.1 cents a minute.
Yeah, this is cheaper than that. I mean, I set
But
it up
I
for,
don't know, but I have no idea what it's gonna take when with the number ported and all that, because I know on one of the lines that I have with Anvio that is just per minute because we don't use it much. It's $2 a month for the phone number that I ported. So
right.
for to servicing that line, it costs. So I need to
Right.
find out. Did you port a number with Voip MS or
A dozen numbers.
okay? All right, yeah, I'll
And
look at it. I mean, it's
they don't sign up unless I send you a link because we
no, no,
both
no.
get
I
10.
mean, I'm
Hear
going.
me.
Uh, w-
Hear me.
yeah.
If I send you the link, we both get $10.
Okay. Well, I mean that's fine. I mean, it's not something that we have to do tomorrow. I think it's in May that they're
Well,
going.
let me tell you, if there's an app. I tried to get you to do this before and I couldn't get your attention. But there is an app called MicroSip, MICROSIP.
Right.
I think it's microsip.org. You can put as many accounts in it as you want to. You can select easily which one. There's only one trick to setting it up, and it's not logical, it's trivial. It works tremendously. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, if you play with it, you'll know why Skype is taken out of this market. I mean, the reason they're getting out of it is because Teams is Skype, and that's where their money is.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, if it's $1 or two a month, and it's simple to just install the app and it goes, because I mean, I that you saying that you told me about it before. I looked at it and it was, I mean, oh boy, I'm all this setup and stuff, and a lot of the apps that are running here, I did not install. You installed, Nick installed, and when something breaks, I wreck my brains to try and figure out what's going on. So if this is something simple and it is VoIP MS like that, is it?
VoIP dot. Well, yeah. Well, we're talking two different things. We're talking VoIP.ms is the provider, and Microsip is the client that you should use with it. I mean, it has a lot of the original Skype features. I mean, it's just wonderful, and I can talk you
Oh,
through setting it up.
so it's two different applications that you run
Correct.
in order to do that. And
Oh,
what?
no, you're using the application to access VoIP MS.
Correct.
It's not Voice MS is a provider. They're not an
That's
app.
right. That's right. They're the
Okay, you
UMA.
see,
They're
well,
the Anvio.
Yeah.
yeah, but so with Anvio, it's different. You download that program and that's it.
Their app. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's you don't have to use their app. This one, I mean, I love it. I've got I use it for testing all the extensions because the way VoIPMS works is that they call the quote unquote extensions, they call them sub accounts. So that if you want to have at your house, you want to have one in the studio and one in the kitchen, then you would have your VoIP.ms account. You would go in and create extension. You might
Yeah,
call
you
it
see,
extension one,
yeah,
extension two.
don't need that.
Uh,
Don't
no,
need.
you do need that.
I want it to
You do
be
need it.
si-
That's the setup. And listen,
I want it to
sorry,
be simple. I want to
this is
install
simple.
an app on the laptop here,
Yep,
and that's it.
that's easy. I'm looking at it, and I don't think I can share the screen here, but
It's fine. I mean, I mean, I meant to send you the link to the Envio thing for you to look. I mean, we're gonna talk. I know that if I'm gonna switch, we're gonna talk first.
yeah,
But
because as
So
I say,
trying the app is no big deal. So you can just set it up for one extension and just leave it at that.
yeah, you can use. I mean, here's the thing. For example, whenever you set up an account with VoIPMS, they give you an account number 158123, 6-digit number.
Yeah.
Now, if you just want to use that number as a single phone, single line, you don't have to do anything else but tell it which number you want it to ring on.
Right.
All right. However, let's say, for example, that you wanted to have a line in the studio and you wanted to be able to answer it in the kitchen. Just make that up. It could be any number of reasons. So then all you would do is put each one on their quote unquote extension. And when the
Mhm.
phone rings, they both ring at the same time. Whoever picks up the line gets the call. The other person doesn't answer, is not able to answer the call. If you want to transfer it from the kitchen to the studio and pick it up in there, you can do that. You got voicemail. I mean, this service even has, and I know you don't need this, you don't want this. Well, if actually you do need it and you should want it, but they have what's called a digital receptionist. So it could
Yeah.
answer and say, "You've reached computers 2K now.
Yeah.
Stand by, and we'll be with you momentarily." And then it transfers it to a second extension, which then sits there ringing with a light on it. You know that somebody has pressed one to get to go on the air. I mean, it's just that's how Rush Limbaugh was able to move his number back and forth to New York.
Well, I'm I don't we'll talk about it.
And anybody
I
who wants free $10, send me an email and I'll sign it. I've signed up quite a few people, and
okay.
also it receives text messages.
Yeah, again, don't need that.
You do need that.
No, come on. If somebody wants to get on the show, they'll either call or they use the chat. They
Don't you still have that telephone number connected to the telephone that you wired into the console?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about getting Anvio number that cost me like next to nothing. But the problem with that is, first of all, looking this direction, the phone is over here. I need to look and see that it's flashing. And I don't know who it is. So this went out the window. I said, no, can't have that. I need to have something that will tell me who it is. They will have some kind of a caller ID.
Hmm.
And that has to run on the computer. I mean, yeah, this
Yeah.
thing here,
Microchip does that.
let me see. Yeah,
Microchip does that.
there.
I'm looking
Boy,
at
I
the,
haven't used that in ages. Yeah, it works, but it'll be fine if I need to call somebody on that.
And you also remember I told you that, and you started getting glassy eyed. That one of the benefits that Skype had, that when I built some custom interfaces for Skype,
Yeah.
you can separate the ringing device
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
speakerphone speaker.
Yeah.
So by doing that and putting an LED VU meter on that, you can see whenever the phone's ringing, and you don't have to hear it ringing in the studio. You can have the light right in front of you, and it's big as a pack of
I
matches.
think I still have it. Oh no,
You
you took it
probably,
back because it didn't
I
work
don't
right.
know. I've got 100 of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But again, that would be so trivial to set up, and once you used it once, you'd never go back.
Well, I mean, again, the caller ID is important.
Yeah, it's there. As long as you can see the app, and it's very non-intrusive on the screen. It's
No, it's on its own. I mean, right now I have a whole Skype window open on the side on the 2K voice. So it's if it's going to replace the same thing, fine with me. I have the area. It's not on the main screen.
yeah, but you don't need it. The way they have intelligently laid it out, all you need is 1/6, 1/8 of the screen
Well,
to get what you need.
yeah,
It's I mean, I've been using it. I've moved a
yeah.
lot of people
I
over it. I will tell you that a certain political party converted over from their Spectrum business phones. They were paying $80 a month for a one line phone,
mm,
and I moved them over to VoIPMS probably 4 years ago, and they really had not put any high volume calling on VoIPMS because I don't know how fast this .08 cents. You know what people's habits are. You don't know how quickly that adds up. And after about I think it was 3 months. I looked at the bill to see how much money they had spent over the whole 3 months, and including the monthly fee and the startup, it was $29.
Sheesh. Yeah.
I'm looking at the VoIP MS features and looking back to when I was selling PBX based
Amazing,
SIP.
isn't it?
It's everything. And then it says access to 15,000 rate centers worldwide. That
Yep.
was our whole story. Is
Yep.
to say, if you're a big company and you have lease lines going back and forth all over the world, you use that as transport and you pick up the local presence in Singapore to complete your call. You never pay long distance.
Yep.
At the time, that was the big story. And they do it. This simple little company does it. It's
I mean, you
amazing.
can, and again, it has all, like Spence is saying, it has all the features. If you want it to ring 3 times and then transfer you to your cell phone, okay. And if your cell phone doesn't answer, it'll go right back to voicemail, so they'll catch it when you're gone. It it's one of those things, I am non where it's like getting new software and reading the manual. All you want to do is type a letter in Microsoft Word. You want to know how to open Word and start typing and hit the print button. If that's all you ever need to do, you don't have to do it. If you want to learn how to do columns, if you want to learn how to do pagination, if you want to learn how to do graphics on it, you can do all that, but you
Yeah.
do it at your pace. It doesn't need to be intimidating, but you can be functional. I'll come to your house when I shake this nasty mess. We'll set up microsip on your computer. I'll let you use one of my accounts. You can play with it, just to play with it, and it'll take me about 10 minutes. And when I leave, you'll be an expert.
Well, all right. We'll need to try it.
I
Absolutely.
put the link for
Yes.
microsip in the chat, and anybody who wants to look at it, they've got typical screens that they can show on the homepage. And the screen, and based on what I'm looking at, the size of the screen on that they show on their homepage is about the size that it is on my screen here. You can resize it, of course, like anything, but it's just amazing. I cannot imagine going back to anything else. You know, a lot of these free ones won't let you have but one or two accounts.
A
But
what?
a lot of these free VoIP
Yeah.
software phones won't let you have but one or two accounts.
Oh,
I've got 25 or at least on this one.
all
So
right.
all that
That's
all that
another.
international money laundering all runs through this.
I don't need them to be traceable, and their customer service is pretty good.
All right.
Until they switch to AI.
Well, I mean, they had a problem. They got whacked for about a month about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was bad. It was ugly. I mean, a lot of people got a problem, but they came back and they didn't just say, okay, we've got it fixed. They re-engineered their whole infrastructure and went with, what is it, the cloud cloud flare, cloud flare. All the security, they implemented all that, and now, I mean, when you go through things, you can tell you're going through several security gateways, so they take it very seriously, from what I can tell.
Well, you remember when Voip went out?
Oh my God,
Yeah, that was. Oof.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
That's when I
But
got
it's
rid of all of them.
electronics. It can happen.
It just, well, I know that, but I'm sorry. Anybody who makes their living off of a
Yeah.
computer
Yeah.
and doesn't have a backup they can restore in 24 hours,
Right.
something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
They just get caught with their pants down. It's happened to all of us.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get off here and keep recuperating. So you keep up the good
All
work. Let
right,
me
Mike.
know.
Hope you
Yeah.
feel
And this
better.
anybody else who hears it, if they send me a message, or I'll be glad to. Or, I think it's M Phillips at Computer 2K now. And I'll be glad to send you the link, and they'll give you $10 for trying it, and then I get $10. I don't think I paid for it forever. So, and I'm not doing it to get the referral. I don't need the $10, but I'm just saying that I have become a big fan of theirs after having tried many of them. I would say that Skype was probably the most painless one to use, but at the same time, when we added a Skype number, we were already used to using Skype.
Yeah.
So we had already crossed that initial hurdle.
Correct.
All right. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
See ya.
All right, Mike. Talk to you. Feel better.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Let's see.
I think it's kind of amazing how what was so futuristic and game changing is just normal now.
Well, I
So
mean, the thing.
we don't realize, like, if you have a mobile phone and you've got VoIP calling enabled, they want you to turn it on
Of course
because
they do.
yeah, because it's much cheaper for them to process the
Yeah.
call. But um, that's what keeps me connected when we travel. We've traveled a lot the last 2 years out of the country on cruise ships, and just all I'm using is the ship's Wi-Fi, and I'm using the call features I have on my phone. I don't have to use their cell system on the ship, which is incredibly expensive,
Hmm.
and I can make calls. I That time my credit card was compromised, 10:30 at night on the ship. I got a call from the credit card company. Did you use your card? They went through the whole fraud thing. Everything was fixed because I had that capability.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody
And
said, I don't
didn't
know,
cost me anything.
10,
Didn't cost me
15
any more to
years
do it.
ago when we started using, I remember the long distance that you used to pay a company for long distance and they would supply you with like $30, $20, MCI and Sprint, and you were using the phone from 18. I mean, and somebody said they shouldn't be charging you. The day will come when you'll make calls all over the world for nothing because there's no reason for them to charge you because it doesn't cost them. It's getting there. It's almost next to nothing now, and a lot of them don't charge you.
What was that
All right,
very early dial-up service?
Telenet.
No, no, it was a full feature thing and it had an encyclopedia. It had news.
Are
What
you
was it called?
come on, you're
It,
not talking about AOL.
no, no, before AOL. Started with a P. Oh
Um,
gosh, what was it? But the point is this: you had to
yeah,
you
something
had to call.
city, something.
No, it was a big. We were using it when I was working for IBM. I was a computer person, repair
They
person.
also were sending out CDs with it, and you would install it on
They
your
were, but
Yeah,
it was before
yeah,
AOL
before
even was on the
AOL, yeah,
scene.
yeah.
And I'll think of it, but it was safe for kids, but you paid by the minute. And I lived right outside of Poughkeepsie, New York, and it was a long distance call to the closest pub, and I'd have to like have a clock there watching because
Yeah.
I'd have to pay long distance to connect. Oh, I'll think of it. I can't remember what it was. Um, very, very early on, lasted for a few years and was gone. But that's when I had my good old IBM XT with my 1200 baud modem and a uh, RGB monitor sitting there connecting. Oh, what was
It
it
was
called?
it was like its own world that you install on your computer, and when you
Yeah,
bring it up, it had all these yeah,
it had
I
shopping. It had,
yeah.
but very, very early. And if you live
I think they
close to,
said that this is where Apple got their, um, interface from. I remember something about them suing Apple because they say, "You stole our" ah, oh, never mind. Alright, let's keep going. Um, Software engineering job listings have plummeted to a 5-year low, with postings on Indeed dropping to 65% of January 2020 levels, a steeper decline than any other tech adjacent field, according to data from Indeed Job Aggregator. Software development positions are now at 3.5 times fewer vacancies compared to their mid 22 peak and 8% lower than a year ago.
so
And
did they have any
huh?
have they determined any causes for it?
The AI.
Well, that and maybe the um,
there's a glut.
The thirst for apps may be different too. I mean,
No,
maybe
Alan,
I mean, you get to the point where everybody's developing so much new stuff. There's no audience for it anymore. So maybe it's fallen back. I don't know.
I don't know.
But no, my first thought was AI. So it's going to be very interesting from a job perspective, a creating job perspective as to what happens. I think that
Okay,
we really need.
I'm looking here because Alan said FidoNet. No, it wasn't FidoNet. FidoNet did not
No,
have it.
no, it was.
They're here. They're listing CompuServe, the Source, and Genie. That
Nope.
that before AOL, but there was another one. Sheesh. This is going to bug everybody.
I know we talked about it before, and I know I remembered it, but at one point, but I can't think of it.
Oh, Prodigy.
Prodigy. That was
Yep,
it. I knew it was a P.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, Prodigy. That was it. And
That's
it was amazing. I occasionally I would use it for the encyclopedia, look something up.
yeah. They had good services.
It did, but it was not free. And we did get IBM, we got a discount. You could do it with a discount code for
Oh,
signing up for it. It wasn't a big discount, but it was the phone call cost more than the monthly access service.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
thought amazed how amazing it was. I had the very first new PC that I bought that I didn't build from parts
Hmm.
was a sale of internal sale on the PC Junior that IBM was selling to employees because it wasn't selling in the marketplace. So one fall they had a special deal where what was it? What was the Compu something was an early computer store. Compu. It was a local store in Poughkeepsie, and they had a special deal IBM discount for employees, and you would go and pick it up at the store. You'd order it, and I remember getting
CompUSA.
no, it wasn't CompUSA. It was I don't remember the
Okay.
name,
Yeah.
but you would go and they were the fulfillment arm, and you would go and pick up your boxes of the CPU, the monitor, and you could get a bundle, all kinds of different bundles. Remember the sidecars? You had the base unit that didn't have any interfaces except for a screen interface and sound. That was it, and keyboard and mouse. But you would put the sidecar. It would be on the right side of the machine. It was the full width, but like 1.5 inches thick, that would be snapped into a connector on the side of the machine, and you could just string them out. You could have 8 of them. I think it was 8 was the max. You would have a serial card, a parallel card, a modem, a I forget what the other ones were, but everybody was online. We were there like 6 o'clock in the morning waiting for the store to open because it was coming up to Christmas,
Hmm.
and they only had enough stock for uh, it wasn't enough for everybody. And I remember waiting online and getting my PC Junior, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
remember sitting at a table set up in my bedroom, and remember Gato, the submarine game. Did you ever play that?
That sounds familiar, but I
Gato
don't
was
remember.
a class
Eh,
of U.S. World War II submarine,
okay.
the Gato class submarine. It was a game where you played. You were the submarine, and you had to go out and attack and blow up ships.
Yeah.
And you would sit there, wait for the floppy drive to load the next screen.
Come on. Today we say we used to have to wait. Back then, it was pretty good because
It wasn't
if
much. Yeah.
it's either a 5.25 inch or it was a tape,
Yeah.
cassette tape.
This was 5.25 inch floppies.
Yeah. So
And I
everything
don't,
was, it was pretty fast.
Oh, yeah,
for what
I
we were
wasn't
used to.
complaining, but it would be interesting because you'd go, like, if you fired the torpedo and the explosion happened on the ship, you'd hear each time you went to go, you change screens, you'd hear the floppy disk access,
Yeah.
and then the
Well,
next screen would come up. Sometimes you'd wait a little bit of time
oh, well,
for your next mission or something to load. I
okay.
bet there's probably a online version of Gato.
More AI. We all know what Salesforce is, right?
Salesforce. Yeah, I have
Salesforce CEO
intimate experience with them.
Mark Benioff, they're one of the biggest service, but he said that his firm, San Francisco largest private employer, does not plan to hire engineers this year because of the success of AI agents created and used by the company. So because of AI, they don't have to uh, hire any engineers. That's
Well, I've talked to a lot of people about how to use it, and my son works for a company that supplies infrastructure for service companies.
uh-huh.
You know, plumbing, electrical, anything that's building services, whatever it is, and they are using AI, several different types of AIs in a big way to help onboard new customers, to consolidate, go in. They create a custom environment for each customer to use. So they'll use iPads and iPhones and back end into Microsoft or whatever the back end is, and um, they'll fully integrate everything. But they're using AI now to do very repetitive tasks and
Mhm.
also to do new configurations. It's amazing.
Well, talking about people using it to the workplace, listen to this report. Most American workers are not embracing AI chatbots in their jobs, with 55% rarely or never using these tools and 29% completely unfamiliar with them, according to a Pew Research Center survey. Only 16% of workers report regular use of AI chatbots like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot. Adoption is highest among younger workers, 23% of those age 18 to 29, and those with postgraduate degree, 26%. Among users, research, which is 57%, editing content, 52%, and drafting reports, 47%. Top of the list applications. While 40% find chatbots extremely or very helpful for working faster, just 29% say they significantly improve work quality. So it doesn't seem like it's doing everybody's what everybody's thinking that, oh, yeah, it's taking over everywhere. It does take over in a lot of places, but not everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much of the how much it becomes part of the culture because it's
Oh, it
accept
will,
you
but
know it will. I understand that it will, but
it'll take
we
years.
haven't seen big parts of the dark side yet.
Yeah.
And well, there was something that came out this week. There was a effort to shut down uh, AI generated child pornography.
Yeah.
They apparently found, I forget how many people were arrested, but they did shut something down. I mean, that who knows what else is going on out there, but
The Pandora box is
that's the
open.
dark side that,
Yeah.
and what are people going to use it for? Financial crimes and
Yep.
fraud and all that stuff.
Yep.
I, it's not that long ago it's probably, well, it was, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years ago that my brother-in-law got a call from what was, we thought, our nephew,
Oh, yeah.
and saying I was arrested in Raleigh. I was here on business and I went out for dinner and I had too much to drink and I had DUI. And it sounded like him. You remember when this first came out?
Yeah.
And that was early AI doing voice processing.
Yeah.
Somehow they got the name. But the funny part about it is they didn't call his mother.
Mhm.
They called an uncle and who didn't live nearby. So how did they know that? It's very strange.
Yeah.
And they back and forth. The reason why, first of all, he knew it didn't sound right and didn't send any money. And then the person kept calling back and they lowered the price to say, "Oh, I negotiated the new price for the bail." It's like, what are you, crazy? And that's when he called me and he said, "This doesn't sound right. Does it sound right to you?" I said, "Call his mother." And he called the mother and he said, "Oh, is so and so
Yeah.
in Raleigh on a business trip?" "No, he's sitting here at my table." But it
Yeah.
was he was the first call. He was thinking it was real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma, I'm
Ah,
stuck in a Turkish prison.
alright, now let's go back to Windows 11. Microsoft has updated its CPU compatibility list for Windows 11 24H2, and it's excluding pre-11th generation Intel processors. So,
So they
9
were they were accepted before and now
oh,
they're
yeah,
not.
I mean, even 8. I have an 8 on this, and it's acceptable when you run the health thing.
So are you grandfathered in or you out of
Well,
luck?
so they are excluding it for OEM building new PCs.
Oh, okay.
They say Windows 11 24H2 has been available for customers for months, yet Microsoft felt compelled in its February update to confirm that builders specifically must use Intel 11th generation or later silicon when building brand new PCs to run its most recent OS iteration. These processors meet the design principles around security, reliability, and the minimum system requirements for Windows 11, they say. Now,
I
how do
want
they
I
know if it's a new build or it's an upgrade? You know,
Oh, I'm
re
sure they know. Because the machine if it's an upgrade, the machine will already be registered.
yeah, and what
The
and
machine will
oh,
they
yeah,
have it,
that's true. That's
'cause when
true.
they
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they activate the machine, it's registered. That's
yeah.
how you can go and move your OS to
Right.
another machine.
Yeah, that's correct. You're right.
So you have your original uh, activation code.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, how much of this do you think is I don't want to say ploy because that implies nefarious reasons, but how much of this is just let's get rid of this older generation? I mean, if they're not, are they still producing what you said, generation 8 that you had?
I have a Generation 8. I
Are they
mean,
still producing new processors?
I I don't know. I have
Because
no idea. I I
maybe this is a favor to
Intel?
Intel or like the when they used to get as granular as saying this particular Lenovo laptop works and this one doesn't. That I always thought that was a ploy to get people to upgrade their machines. And the manufacturers, when Windows 11 came out, oh, this is a great thing for us because we're going to sell more machines. And it didn't turn out that way because people could upgrade.
Well, yeah, it's
Or I should say
always
Windows 10, not 11. When Windows 10 came out, it ran on almost anything. It might be slow, but it
yeah,
did
it
work.
still does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, again, Microsoft has quietly launched a new version of Microsoft Office for Windows that can be used to edit documents for free. No Microsoft 365 subscription or Office license key required. This fever this free version of Office is based on a full desktop on the full desktop apps, but has most features locked behind the Microsoft 365 subscription. The free version of Office for Windows include ads that are permanently on screen when within a document in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Additionally, this new free version of Office also only allows you to save files to OneDrive,
Huh.
meaning no support for editing local files. To access the free version of Office, just skip the prompt to sign in when you first run an Office app. From there, you will be given a choice to continue to use Office for free in exchange for ads and limited features. In this mode, you can open, view, and edit, and even edit documents just like you can with the web version of Office. So I don't know why they doing this, but people, there are still sales by PC Magazine, yeah, and some other publications that you can buy the full Office suite for about $30
That's what I did.
with a lifetime license.
Yep. I have on 3 machines. I bought individual, and I can't remember the name of the place I went to buy it. It was very
Yeah,
good.
I mean, you'll see them. I mean, you can buy them for about $5 from those people that
Well,
sell licenses.
yeah, but these
But
places
these,
were legitimate licenses
well,
that
these are
were
no, 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 all those licenses are legitimate. I'm not talking about pirating.
no, I know, but
We
I mean,
talked
when I
about it,
say
but
legitimate, some of
these,
them are shady. The ones for $5 are shady.
no, 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 no. There's nothing shady about it because it's only for the license. Over here, you buying the software. The main important thing for people that are worried about it is you're buying it from a known store, so to speak. PC Magazine. Um, what's the other one? The big web thing. Uh, Stack
Well,
Overflow.
usually what they'll do
It,
is they'll redirect you. I see on certain social media sites, they'll say, help us by here's your opportunity to buy Office 2021
right,
for $25. If
right.
you buy this, we get credit for it. So they send you to, and I have an account with it. I can't remember the name. I have to
It
go look
doesn't
through my
matter. They're
receipts.
all over,
Oh, I realized, but
and
the
that's the
place I
thing.
used, I liked them because they didn't disappear and they had support. And each of the licenses I bought, it was just a bunch of aggregator licenses that were never used that they purchased.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Microsoft didn't like it, but there was nothing they could do.
There's nothing you can do.
You know, so I've got
So
Office
there's no
2021 on my
no
machine.
need. Yeah, and if you buy 2021, I mean I think that's the latest in the desktop. I don't think,
It may be.
and it's gonna last for years. So no need to make somersaults and, oh, I can't save it locally and I have to do this and I have to do that. And if you want this feature, you have to get a 365 account and pay, and just get it and install it on your computer. It's fine. It works.
And
And
it gets updates. And
yep.
yeah, I mean, what was I using before that? Think I still had my original Nortel license or like Office 2001 or
Yeah, it's
2009. And
yeah.
it worked until I bought this new, I just wanted the update.
2003, 2013 was still working a year ago, I think. This is when I went ahead and I got the 2019 from PC Magazine. but yeah, there are ways to do it, and you don't need to worry about it. It works, and you don't need to get an Office 365 unless you have the money to spend on it. Because when you get the subscription, yeah, it is. They will also you get the versions upgraded,
I
but
ran into
it's
a major issue more than once with a customer of mine who moved to an 11 laptop and got a new wanted to keep his old 10 running with Office 365, purchased
uh-huh.
a new license for 365. He was a big Outlook user,
Hmm.
and when they went through their transition to the new Outlook,
Hmm.
remember the difference? They were saying you were using the old Outlook and you're
Yeah,
using it, right? It was a disaster.
yeah, it
And then
was.
there was an update. This is a recent thing, like 3 weeks ago. There was an update, and it blew away his access to Outlook. It kept saying you have to start Outlook, you had to log into your Microsoft account every time. And it still his didn't access his local PST files. So it took me about 4 hours to remotely go in and fix everything to make it work again.
I don't
That was
know how many of my customers on Delta Force I have converted away from Outlook because they had problems with it. They didn't like it. And Outlook is very heavy. I mean, there
I
is no
think
reason for it. It's like driving the deuce and a half to the grocery store to get a pound of meat. I mean, it's ridiculous.
unless you're in a corporate environment, an
Yes,
exchange
that's a different
environment
story.
where it's mandated. It is, I mean, if you're managing, I liked Outlook. And I used it for many years because the storage on the company server was limited. Once you got to a certain amount, you kept getting reminders to saying you need to move your mail off. So Outlook was great for that because what you would do is you'd have local PST files. So I
Hmm.
take an entire 6-month block of emails that I wanted to save, and I'd move them over to a local PST file and name it. Outlook January 21 to May or June 21. And I knew I could go back and find everything, and I just have to open it locally. But the problem with that is the PST files got bigger and bigger and
Yeah,
bigger. You had 2, 3, 4 gig PST files. They did. Remember when they had to have that
there's a
fix?
limit. Yeah, there was
The
a
limit
limit
was
of
2 gig,
20. Yeah,
and if you got close to that, it just stopped working,
yeah,
and you didn't know why.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah,
Think
there
about,
are other ways to do things. You don't have to stick with the big companies.
and this is why I have great empathy for people who want to use this stuff, but don't have. It's not that they're not smart; they're very smart, but they have not had the pain that we've gone through with dealing with all this stuff coming out of nowhere, and just it's your job to figure it out.
Hmm.
I mean, where I get calls from people, I have this issue, I don't know what to do. And instead of saying, well, go online and research it yourself, I said, oh, I know what's wrong, I'll fix it. And I don't mind doing that because some people, it's like, you don't want to spend your life digging through this stuff to try to get it to work,
Right.
right? That's our job, right?
Yeah. I mean, but people will do it because that's all they think, that this is all that's available,
Yeah.
and they
I,
have to
I
use it.
did the same customer, not this time, but the time when I moved his machine over. It took so long to figure out how to get all this stuff to work right with this Microsoft license. I said, look, you don't need to pay for me to educate myself on what's wrong. I gave him a break. I said, I'm going to go research this and figure this out, but it's not on your dime.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah,
I need to
because that's
learn
how we
what
learn.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Okay. It's this time of day
it's time to retire
for the week.
for the week.
So
Well,
anything.
I will not be on the show next week starting I'll be up in Alaska for a couple of months. I will try to call in
All
when I
right.
can, but I'm doing a different thing this year. I'm going early. I'm going to be an instructor training new drivers.
And you're not going to stay there
I'm
long.
not going to stay. I'm not going to work this, the actual regular season. They wanted me to stay a few weeks, and it's dependent on them finding me a place to stay. Because
Mhm.
how do I find a cheap place to stay for 2 weeks? Without, I can't rent an apartment. I've got to find someone who's got a space for me, and not providing um, housing on a short-term basis. So we'll see. I might be back a little earlier than I thought, but
Well, I'm sure you'll have fun, and that's what's important.
yeah, and I'm doing it's a little different. It's not quite as intense.
Yeah.
It's a 6-day work week. Sunday's always off. Basically 9 to 5.
No,
So
it's fine. All right. So thanks, Spence.
you're welcome.
And Mike, thank you for popping in. We'll talk. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael, and Nick. Thank you, everybody, for turning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change any same passwords wherever you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT 1110 a.m. and 99.3 FM in Charlotte. And it's also on YouTube. Just search for Carolina Journal News Hour. And Nick does his own show, the Nick Craig Show, from 7 till 8 a.m. every day, every weekday. Political stuff. Just go to nickcraig.com to get all the details. And also, Nick and Brian host the Infection podcast on Twitch. This is for survival games and gaming in general, news with some political stuff. Just go to infectionpodcast.com to get all the details about when the live show, or just download the last show to listen. Have a great week. Stay safe. Be back with you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.